Let's be clear, investing is the key to building wealth. The hard truth is that saving alone is never going to build a huge amount of money. The average savings account interest rate is about 0.57%. Meanwhile, the stock market, on average, returns about 10% per year, or closer to 7% if you're accounting for inflation. So let me show you what that actually means. If you put $10,000 in a savings account that earns 0.57% interest, after 10 years, you'd have about $10,584. That sucks. Compare that to investing in the stock market. You would nearly double your money. This is why you have to know this simple truth. Wealth is created by investing. I've helped millions of people live their rich life through investing. And today I'm going to show you exactly what to do no matter how much money you make so you can set yourself up for financial freedom. Now, how much you invest and how you invest will look drastically different if you're making 25K, 100K, or more. Starting small is powerful. And I'm going to tell you which accounts to open and what to prioritize at every level. But before we talk about how to invest specifically for each income tier, let's quickly cover what investing actually is. To put it simply, investing is using your money to make more money automatically. When you invest in something like index funds, which we'll get to in a second, your money grows over time without having to do anything, and much faster than it would if it were just sitting in savings. That is why investing is the single most powerful way to build wealth. You're not day trading, you're not trying to time the market. It's not actually that hard. A lot of us believe deep down earning money should be hard. So this is really counterintuitive because you can make hundreds of thousands of dollars, even millions of dollars, by simply setting up a system that grows your money in the background, even while you sleep. Now, let's talk about how to do that. First, automate your investing. This means setting up regular automatic transfers, like 5 or 10% of your paycheck to your investment accounts. That could be your 401k, your Roth IRA, or a typical brokerage account. Now, automating your investing means you set it and forget it. You don't have to remember to manually move money every month. You don't have to decide if you have money to invest. It's already built in. Think about it like this. You put your Thanksgiving turkey in the oven and then you just let it sit. You are not going to get in there and fiddle around and check, how does it look? No, you already set the system up. Leave it alone. Now, here is a common mistake that I see all the time, and it can cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars. Once your money lands in that account, the money will just sit there until you tell it what to buy. Once you transfer the money in, you have to actually make an investment. That brings me to the second action you need to do when investing: diversify your investments. Diversifying means not putting all of your eggs in one basket. Now, a lot of people go, yeah, diversification, and then they put all their money in some stupid godforsaken stock. Do you guys want to do this? Do you want to learn how investing actually works, or do you want to learn how your high school buddy who got an F in biology invests? How about I just tell you how it actually works? You should not be putting all of your money in one single volatile stock. That's not investing, that's gambling. And I know what everybody's saying. Hey, bro, how about if you put it in Nvidia? That's f***ing awesome, bro. I make way more than you Luddite. You might be able to make a lot of money picking one stock that happens to crush it. Fantastic. I am so happy for you. But what happens when that stock stops crushing it? What happens when some of those stocks go to zero, like many huge companies have? When you pick one stock, you are not investing, you are gambling. And it's true, when you diversify, you may not make as much as picking the single best performing stock of the last 10 years. In the same way that when I pick a typical index fund, I don't make as much money as picking the winning lottery ticket. Do you see the difference? We are not trying to get the maximum amount of money always through luck. We are trying to build a healthy process so we can have more than enough money by investing. Let me tell you how to do it. You log into your investment account, you click around, you tell your investment account to automatically buy shares of an index fund, or my personal favorite, a target date fund. Both of these are automatically diversified for you, no extra work. And when the money comes in every single month, your investment account will automatically invest for you. Guys, this is how real people build serious wealth. They don't log into their accounts every day. They don't check the stock market. They don't really care about PE ratios. Most of them don't even know what it is. They simply build a system that runs itself. So these two principles, automation and diversification, are the foundation of building wealth. If they sound boring, good. Investing should be boring. It's not meant to be entertainment. All right, now let's get into the investment strategies for each tier. Tier 1, $25,000. Let's start here because this is where a lot of people feel like investing is completely out of reach. And I actually understand deeply. When you are truly living paycheck to paycheck, saving anything feels impossible. But this is actually exactly where smart money habits begin. My first year out of college, I only made $11,000. I lived in a shared house with a bunch of guys. I would go to Google, where some of my friends worked, and I would take a backpack so I could get a bunch of free food and stuff it in my bag. I know from experience that for people at this income level, even up to 40K, there's not a lot of financial breathing room. If you earn 25K, your take-home pay is about $1,800 per month. Honestly, that's not a lot of money to work with. Let's be realistic. After paying for basic needs like rent, utilities, food, transportation, a lot of people don't have very much money left over at all. And I have a lot of compassion for people in this tier because it's really hard to think about investing 30 years from now when you aren't sure where next month's rent will come from. So the first thing I want you to do is protect yourself with a financial moat. And that means that after covering your monthly bills, your main priority should be saving an emergency fund that can cover unexpected expenses, like a car breakdown or a medical bill. How do you do that? To build a financial moat, I want you to work towards saving an emergency fund that can cover 3 to 6 months of basic expenses, like your rent, car payment, and groceries. And this is going to take time, especially at this income. You can start by saving 1 month. Then you can work your way to 3. This will take a while, but that's okay. At least you have a plan and you are following through on it. If you make your financial moat a priority, you're gonna be so much more secure once you have it, and you're gonna feel so much safer. When you're living on $25,000 a year, you need to track your spending carefully because you do not have a lot of buffer. But I'm not gonna be the guy who's sitting over here lecturing you about buying coffee. My conscious spending guidelines are less about agonizing over where every dollar is going and more about prioritizing what matters to you. Here's how the conscious spending plan breaks down. 50 to 60% of your take-home pay goes to fixed costs like rent, utilities, and debt payments. 5 to 10% goes towards your savings goals, which includes your emergency fund, 10% or more to investments, and 20 to 35% goes to guilt-free spending on the things that truly make you happy. And yes, even with a $25,000 salary, it's important to make room for things you love. Now, I want to pause here for a second to acknowledge something. A lot of people making $25,000 a year have fixed costs going at 70%, 75%, sometimes 80%. What I need you to do is to understand the conscious spending plan and then adapt it so that you can keep moving forward. Maybe you're not investing at all. Okay, you can't do it today, but you have an eye on being able to do it tomorrow. Maybe instead of 25 or 30% for guilt-free spending, you cut that down to 10% and you take the remainder and move it towards building your emergency fund. Because once you have that emergency fund established, you can then shift that money to investing. You probably won't be able to hit 10% investments at this income, and that's okay. I don't want the idea of perfection to stop you from even starting. Truthfully, even investing 2% can be impactful over time due to the power of compound interest, which I want to tell you about right now. I know a lot of you love lasagna. I know a lot of you love a nice car. You know what I love? Compound interest. I'm going to show you why, because the math is going to blow your mind. Let's say you can't afford to invest 10% of your take-home pay, which would be $184 a month. Totally understandable. What about investing just $20 per month? Now, I know a lot of people go, oh, $20 a month sounds like shit. Why would I even bother doing that? The beauty of investing is how your money compounds over time. And the earlier you start, even with small amounts, the more your money grows. I'm going to show you an example. Let's take Kevin and Sasha. They both make $25,000 a year. Neither of them has a lot of money to invest every single month. Kevin decides to start small. He invests $20 a month. Sasha, on the other hand, decides to hold off on investing and ultimately waits 10 years before starting to make regular $20 contributions to their 401k. Let's fast forward 30 years. Kevin's $20 a month investment will have grown to just under $24,000. Sasha, on the other hand, with 10 fewer years for that money to grow, will have less than half of that, about $10,000. $24,000 versus $10,000, all for a difference of just 10 years. Guys, this is the power of compound interest, and it is why time is your friend when it comes to investing. You all love your little cute little dog. Oh, this dog is so cute, even though they slobber all over my face and lick my tongue. Disgusting. Whatever. You like that as a friend? Fine. You know what I like as a friend? Time. Because time works on my side when I make it work on my side. So start small. When it comes to what you should invest in, I would encourage you to look at low-cost funds. My personal favorite are target date funds because it's one fund, you set it and forget it, it automatically becomes conservative over time, or you can pick a series of index funds. But I don't want to get into what to invest in just yet because I got to address a very harsh reality first. It's time for some tough love, everybody. Everybody's sitting over here, oh God, taxes are so evil, oh, capitalism. Okay, maybe. Want me to tell you something that you actually can control? Your income. And the good news is that your income is not fixed. For some reason in America, we talk about income as if it is a fixed pie. This is my income. What are you going to do to protect it? And that's why so much money advice is so focused on restriction. Because if you believe that your income is fixed, that you cannot change it, that it is immutable, then of course you are naturally going to protect it. But I don't believe that, and neither do top performers. They know that the pie can be expanded. I can build my skills, I can start making more money, I can save more money, invest more money, and best of all, spend more money on the things I love. So just because this is where you are right now does not mean your income is going to be the same a year from now or even 6 months from now. Now I know what you're thinking. Ramit Sethi must be so easy. Mr. Coastal Elite Ivy Leaguer talking about how to earn more money. Stanford is not in the Ivy League, my friends. What I will say unapologetically is that you can increase your income. Increasing your income is a skill, and most of us never spend any time on it. How do you do it? Well, it could mean learning new skills. It could mean building your network. It could mean taking on side income. Earning a little bit of money on the side, even $200 or $500 a month, can make a huge difference at this income level. Even if you don't have a business idea, even if you're not an expert in anything, and even if you're totally overwhelmed, I'll show you exactly how to start earning a side income. I got a free download for you. It's called Find Your First Profitable Idea. I'll link it for you in the description below. Now, if you are learning something new right now, especially if nobody has ever explained money to you in this way, hit that subscribe button. I got new videos coming out every week to help you earn more, invest smarter, and design your rich life. Tier 2, $60,000. With a $60,000 salary, you have a little more breathing room. At this level, your take-home pay is about $4,100 per month. You've paid your bills. Maybe you got a little bit left over. Hopefully, you are still building up that emergency fund to protect yourself. Now let's talk about how to really get your investing engine running at this level. Now, 60K is a big step up from 25K, but it doesn't mean you have a ton of money lying around, especially with today's housing costs. That doesn't mean you should delay investing. It just means you got to be a little bit more realistic about how much you can afford to invest while still letting the power of compound interest work its magic. I would aim to invest 5% of your income at this level. Okay, if you can't do that, if you live in a very expensive area, or maybe you have student loans, start lower. Work your way up by increasing your investment rate 1% each year. For example, you can't do 5% this year? Cool, do 2%. Make it automatic. And in December, set up a calendar reminder, do it right now. December 15th, you go into your investment account and you change that number from 2% to 3%. And then the next year to 4%. Even by increasing your investment rate 1% per year, you will set yourself up to have hundreds of thousands of dollars more than if you just waited and did nothing. If all you can do at this income level is max out your employer's 401k match, which I'll get to in the next step, boom, you're already doubling your investment balance. If you work at a company that offers a 401k, contributing to that account is actually a pretty awesome way to grow your investments. And if the employer matches your contributions, you are getting free money. An employer match supercharges your retirement savings like this. If you were to save 3% of your $60K salary without a match, you'd have about $175,000 after 30 years, assuming a 7% real return. But if your employer offered a 3% match, you're effectively doubling that ending balance to just over $350,000. Does everybody see what's going on here, or did I just share a bunch of numbers that went over everybody's head? Basically, if you're getting a free match, you're getting a lot of money, and you might as well take advantage of that because it is awesome. Now, if a 401k is not an option because you don't have a full-time job or your employer doesn't offer it, okay, you can invest in an IRA. It could be a traditional IRA or a Roth IRA. The traditional reduces your taxable income. Your Roth is made with after-tax dollars, but it grows tax-free. Now, if you're eligible for a health savings account or HSA, you can actually contribute there and invest the money. This is crazy. A lot of people don't know this. An HSA is a tax-advantaged account. You contribute pre-tax dollars to fund it, reduces your taxable income, and they give you a triple tax advantage because not only are your contributions tax deductible, your investments grow tax-free, and withdrawals for the money for qualified medical expenses are also tax-free. Basically, I just said the word tax 50,000 times and nobody understands what the I'm talking about. Let me break it down for you. You know how you're always worried about the ultra wealthy having all these secret tax loopholes and stuff, which they do, them by the way. You actually have tax advantaged accounts that you can use right now. Your 401k, a Roth IRA, an HSA. Pay attention to these, learn what they are. I have an entire book that shows you how to take advantage of these, and you can make tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands of dollars more. Here's my nightmare. I try to manage my money for the next 30 or 40 years, and then when I retire, I finally pay attention to it. I log into my accounts, I look at it, I go, F***. I never saved enough. I never took the time to understand how compound interest works, and now for the rest of my likely short life, I'm gonna have to buy Tostitos tortilla chips, some of the worst chips on the planet. Why? Because I didn't actually learn how this worked and I played small. Do you want to have to eat Tostitos for the rest of your life? Me either. That's why we're going to focus on bigger money moves. Because no matter what your goals are, you're probably going to need more money to reach them. I don't want you to waste your time agonizing over saving $3 or $5 on coffee. That's irrelevant. That's a distraction. Instead, focus on what I call $30,000 decisions. These are the big money moves that actually change your financial life. These are things like increasing your investment rate just 1% every year, becoming so good at your job that they can't ignore you, and learning how to negotiate your salary. Now that last one, that is a massive lever. One raise could mean an extra $5,000, $10,000, even $50,000 over the next few years, and that money can flow directly into your savings, your investment, even your guilt-free spending. Now, I created a video showing you exactly how to negotiate your salary. I'll link it below. And don't stop there. Keep building yourself up, build new skills, look for opportunities to grow your income, even an extra $1,000 a month through a side gig using my Earn 1K system can dramatically accelerate your rich life. This is where you zoom out. What do you actually want your money to do for you in the next 5, 10, or 20 years? Are you planning to get married and you want to have a big wedding? Do you want to save up for a down payment on a house? Are you thinking about paying for your kids' education? These are all milestone events that can be worth saving money for. And the best way to save will depend on what your goal is and how many years you need to accomplish it. Most people can manage their money on their own, but some people want a helping hand. Some people want to know, will I have enough? Can I actually dream bigger? And for those people, getting access to a team of financial planners can make all the difference. This is exactly where a great financial planner, like the ones at our partner Facet, can help. Facet will help you understand and expand your financial opportunities by providing you flexible access to a team of financial planners, or CFP professionals, and a team of professionals providing guidance across retirement planning, tax strategy, estate planning, and more. And the best part is, unlike traditional advisors who charge a percentage of your assets, that's a big no-no, that can easily cost tens or even hundreds of thousands of dollars over your lifetime, Facet charges an affordable flat membership fee for financial planning. I've worked with Facet to help lots of couples on my podcast understand if they can retire early, pay for their kids' college, be more generous, or even take cooler vacations every year. If you've ever wished that you had a smart team to help guide your biggest financial decisions, check them out. You can head to facet.com/Ramit. to see which membership option is right for you, or click the link in the description below. Okay, now let's move to the next tier. Tier 3, $100,000 and above. With a $100K salary, you're looking at about $6,500 in take-home pay per month. This is a third and final tier in my breakdown. And while 100K is our starting point, your income might actually be much higher. And this is the point. As your income grows, the systems that you have set up become even more important. Automating your savings and investments keeps your financial goals on track without relying on willpower. You'll be tempted to move money around manually. You'll tell yourself you deserve that splurge. And actually, sometimes you can actually do it. But automation, that system that you can now lean on, is what protects you from overspending. It keeps your money growing even as you earn more and more. Because a lot of us know people who make a lot of money and they have nothing to show for it. Using these systems, that's not going to be you. You're going to keep growing your income, keep spending more on the things you love, and yes, keep investing and saving more. Now, before we get into the investing steps, I want to talk about something that is really important at this level, and that is your money dials. Money dials are the things you love to spend money on, whether it's food, travel, fitness, convenience, experiences, or something else entirely. And I call these dials because you can turn them up or down depending on what matters most to you. Can I just tell you something? There's nothing wrong with spending money on the things you love. In fact, there's nothing wrong with spending a lot of money, even more than you spend right now, on the things you love. I actually encourage it. Some people love to spend money on designer clothes. I'm all for it. If you can afford it and you love it, why not? Some people want to give more generously. Some people want to travel and stay at fancy hotels, or travel for a long time, or pay for their parents to come with them. It's up to you. The reason that I'm talking about money dials at this level is that now, for the first time, you truly have the space to become thoughtful and intentional about spending money on the things you love. For example, one of my money dials is travel. And so I created a rule for myself. Anytime we fly longer than 4 hours, business class. I also love beautiful hotels. Now, other people would find it outrageous. Why would you spend that much money staying at a hotel? It's just a room, blah, blah, blah. Doesn't matter to me what they think. I can afford it and I love it. And so it is my money dial. Some people might choose to spend money on a personal trainer or Pilates class. Awesome. That's the point. Your rich life is yours. You spend more on what you love and cut costs mercilessly on what you don't. But even at the 100K level, you cannot have every money dial cranked to 10. So it's actually important to get clear on what matters to you most and then adjust your conscious spending plan to support that. And as your income grows and as your net worth grows, you can always adjust those money dials. Your rich life is going to evolve and your spending should evolve with it. Now, if you want help figuring out what your money dials are and you want to be inspired by how other people spend their money, I've got a free quiz that walks you through it. I'm putting the link in the description below. Now that your spending is going to be aligned with what your vision of a rich life is, let's talk about how to use your income to build serious wealth. As your income increases, your fixed expenses will naturally take up a smaller percentage of your paycheck because there's only so much money you can spend on toothpaste and bread. That leaves more room for you to save and invest. Again, compound interest is your friend, so the more you invest starting now, the more your money will grow over time. And here's what I want you to do. Think in percentages, not absolutes. You should commit a certain percentage of your paycheck to your investment accounts, not a fixed dollar amount like $100 a month or $1,000 a month. No, a percentage, because as you make more, even if that percent stays the same, say 15%, you're going to be investing more in an absolute dollar amount. At this level, my suggestion is you should be investing at least 10% of your take-home pay. If you can afford to do 15% now, do it. Your future self will really thank you. That 15% investment rate might look like a lot, but you can increase your investments every single year, like I mentioned earlier. Start with 10%, work your way up to 15% or more. Now remember, 1% per year is a benchmark, but the more you invest, the more growth you will unlock. At this income level, your strategy really matters. And my next move is pretty simple. Max out every tax-advantaged retirement account available to you. You can start by maxing out your 401k match. Don't leave that money on the table. Then you can max out your Roth IRA if you're eligible. If you still have more money to invest, you can go back to your 401k, contribute above and beyond the employer match. You also have other options like an HSA, and finally, a standard taxable account, which has no limit to how much you can invest every single month. All of these accounts will help you grow your net worth over time. So use the strategy from my book, automate your contributions, and then let the system run. No need to overthink it. And for those of you earning above $150,000 income, the backdoor Roth IRA strategy can come into play. If your income is too high for a direct Roth IRA contribution, you can often still get tax-free growth by funding a traditional IRA and then converting it to a Roth. Let me show you how it works. Once your money is in the traditional IRA and you've opened up the Roth IRA, you're gonna move that money over to the Roth. You can do it one of three ways. You can withdraw the funds and then deposit them. You can have your provider transfer the funds to the new account for you, or the transfer happens between accounts at the same institution if they're both in the same place. Now, there are a few nuances here, so I want you to carefully research the backdoor IRA strategy. Timing is key, for example. And by the way, this would be a perfect scenario to discuss with our partners at Facet so you don't make any mistakes. Now, if you still have extra money to play with after maximizing all of your tax advantage accounts, you can consider opening up a regular brokerage account. There's no limit to how much you can invest with a regular taxable account. You can invest $10,000 a month, $100,000 a month, $1 million a month. So it is simply a great account if you have maxed out all of your other tax advantaged accounts. Now, at this income level, it might make sense to bring in a financial advisor if your situation is getting more complex. If you do, I always recommend choosing one who charges a flat fee, not a percentage, because even a 1% fee can eat a massive chunk out of your portfolio over time. And I'm gonna show you the math because it is shocking. If you invest $50,000 at age 30 and contribute $1,000 a month for 35 years, let's assume a 7% real return, with a low-cost index fund, 0.2%, you'll end up with just over $2 million. With a 1% advisor fee, you'd only have $1.7 million. Do the math. That's $380,000 gone in fees and opportunity costs. And I want you to use the same thinking for your big purchases, like buying a house. You gotta run the numbers. Before you assume buying is better than renting, I need you to run a buy versus rent calculation. You got to add up all the costs of owning, including the mortgage, maintenance, repairs, property taxes, insurance, opportunity costs, and compare it to your renting costs. I just made a full video showing you exactly how to run this calculation. You can find the link in the description. And please remember, just because you're making more money doesn't mean you have to buy. I personally rent by choice. I've been renting by choice for over 20 years, and I love that when something breaks in my apartment, I text the landlord, and it's their responsibility to fix it and to pay for it. Like an HVAC unit can cost $10,000 plus, not my problem. Step 4, use the 4% rule as a guide for retirement. Once you cross the six-figure mark, a lot of people start wondering, how much do I actually need to retire? And even if retirement feels really far off, having a target of something concrete to work towards can be really helpful. So I'm gonna give you a little tool that can be useful as you start to think about how much you need, how much is enough. Here's how to figure it out using something called the 4% rule. Now, here is the technical definition of it. In general, what it means is this will help you understand if you are on the right track to retire. So what do? Start by calculating your total annual expenses, rent or mortgage, food, utilities, transportation, everything. Then divide that number by 0.04. So if you spend $80,000 a year, that means you would need a $2 million portfolio to comfortably retire under the 4% rule. Once you have that number, I want you to compare that to where your retirement accounts are now. This will show you if you're on track or if you need to invest more or sometimes less. Remember that the 4% rule is just a guideline. Your real number might be higher or lower depending on your lifestyle, depending on if you are going to have housing costs in retirement, when you plan to retire, but at least having a general back of the napkin number is way better than not having any idea at all. Whatever income tier you're in now is the perfect time to start investing. And if you want to go deeper on financial strategies at these income levels, watch this video here.